Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Tesla Minute. Really appreciate you joining me every day at 12 noon Pacific. And today we have Nicholas Gibbs. He is the host of Investing Against the Grain on YouTube channel. You should check him out. He had a really good recent episode he just did a few days ago. So two main topics we're going to talk about today is, could there possibly be commercial partners that Tesla could partner with? We've seen some rumblings between Uber and Hertz, and there's even an IRA credit that possibly can incentivize companies like Tesla to make these kind of partnerships. And then I'd like to spend a lot of time on Q4. That's next week on Wednesday, and we'd like to hear what to expect. And the perfect person to have that is with us is Nicholas. Hey, Nicholas, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing, Herbert?
Doing well. Appreciate you joining me as always. So let me just go through some of these quick tweets that I saw this morning, and they're kind of related. So the first one is that Hertz has said that they're launched a campaign for electrifying its fleet of rental vehicles, and they're going to focus on Denver, and then soon they'll move across America, right? So here, this is just kind of the continuation of this article that was written. And what it says is that, I know this is really hard, but we'll cover this shortly here. But basically, they're going to deliver 5,200 EVs in the Denver locations, also helping to place EV charging infrastructure surrounding this location. And, you know, they didn't say specifically just Tesla. We do know that they ordered 100,000 Tesla Model 3s, and we don't know how many Model Ys, but they've also ordered 65,000 Polestars, and most recently 175,000 EVs from GM as well. So it could be a mixture of all these, but for them to actually say that we're going to now focus on Denver, and we're really going to just communicate this, and they're going to then have the right infrastructure in place. This is one of the things they're doing. And so Tesla will definitely be one of the featured cars there. As we know, it's one of the more sought after cars. And we've heard the CEO of Hertz talk about how it's like a 50% reduction in maintenance as well. So what do you think, Nicholas?
Yeah, lots of thoughts on this. I think this is a short-term, very good thing, especially as a Tesla shareholders, right? We need to be seeing more and more Teslas, taken out of inventory and being bought up. And, I love what Hertz is doing. I think that this is, again, bullish for Tesla in many respects. But I will say, I do think in the bigger scheme of things, this is somewhat of a potential short-sighted play. And the reason I say that is I am somebody who, call it drinking the Kool-Aid or call it just hopium, but I truly believe robo-taxis are right around the corner. I don't think we're that far out. And, when I see something like that, my initial thought would be, oh, Hertz is, they get it. They see what's happening. They're going to set themselves up for success for this future robo-taxi world. But then you see, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you see them going for Polestar vehicles, GM, who knows what else what other EVs they add to their portfolio. But it makes me think, okay, they are not thinking about this next phase. And I think this electric revolution is going to be, I think it's going to go by us faster than we think it is.
Mm.
And autonomy is going to take over and be the main story. They're both kind of happening at the same time right now. Everyone's trying to become electric. But I think autonomy is going to eclipse all of that. And it's not going to be, are you electric? It's going to be, do you have an autonomous vehicle?
Yeah, that's going to be the switch first. So right now they're just focusing on EV as the brand. I'm actually shocked that there's not other car companies that are starting to position themselves. Hertz did a great job coming out last year, and now they're in the mind share of people as being, one of the first rental companies that you can easily rent an EV if you wanted to, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. Do you think that other rental car companies are going to make a big splash, or is it kind of late and they're going to say something, but it doesn't really matter anymore? It's too late.
I don't know. I don't think it's too late. I never think it's too late for anything, right? Because if it's too late, then what's the other option? It means bankruptcy, going extinct. So it's never too late. No one's ever
Yeah.
too late. But I do think that I think they're behind. They're getting further and further behind. I think their approach is very much like Toyota, where they just want to keep their status quo, and they think that there's this this huge roadblock for people with, where am I going to charge, and the
Mm,
anxiety of it and all these things. And I don't know, Hertz just seems like they are forward thinking compared to
yeah,
everyone else, which is shocking because Hertz
yeah,
seems to have leapfrogged them with a
yeah,
vision
they
and
did.
forward
They were
thinking.
bankrupt. Yeah.
Yeah, right. They've done a 180.
They did. It's wonderful. Okay, so here is Uber. So this came out just 4 hours earlier today. Uber's working with automakers to design electric vehicles customized for ride sharing and delivery. So just exactly what you were saying. They're really trying to make sure that people know that this is where they're headed. And then let's see what the so the CEO of Uber did not say Tesla, didn't mention the word Tesla. They're just saying that we want to work with automakers to design EVs. And the article kind of points out that if you were to do an EV designed for ride sharing and for delivery, that you would design it differently. This isn't just a regular car. So it'd be interesting if that might be Tesla. If they were Uber, they might kind of make sense, doesn't it? That it would work with Tesla, but it could be any car company for sure. Any thoughts about this? Is like so? What you just said that about the Hertz, that you're thinking it's robotaxi, but is Uber now kind of jumping the gun and they're actually talking about something that may not happen for a long time?
Okay, no, two thoughts. One, I think Uber is doing the right thing. I think their head's in the right space when it comes to this. But two, I I would almost bet. Nah, well, I was about to say I would almost bet all my Tesla shares, but that would not be a true statement. I would put $100 on
Okay.
on the fact that, right, something I'm willing to lose $100 that they are not talking to Tesla. There is
Oh, okay.
zero, in my opinion,
Yeah.
there's zero input that Uber could give to Tesla or any like where's the benefit? What's the benefit for Tesla? Design? No. What's Uber design? An app? That's it, right? Okay, maybe they have a network of people who drive their vehicles, and so you could say we have a network and clientele base or employee base. But guess what? With robotaxi, you don't need that. So where's the benefit for Tesla to the brand, Uber brand? Like people know that as a ride hailing thing. Okay, well, Tesla's a bigger brand than that, right? So I don't see any benefit for Tesla. Tesla can design, Tesla can figure this out. Tesla will think 3 steps ahead of what anyone's thinking about what will be important for ride hailing, for delivery. Like it's not even close. Where's the value add from Uber?
Mm.
Now,
The,
Waymo, Cruise, all of
mhm.
them, I can see that.
Yeah, the value add that I understand is that Elon has said that he sees a place for fleet managers, right? So once you do robotaxi and they're starting to offer it, they'd like to have fleet managers that do take care of the regular things like cleaning the car and maintaining it and managing the app and so forth. So there is a place for a third party. And Elon said, yeah, he can see fleet managers taking care of that instead of Tesla per se. Not that this is a
Yeah,
done deal decision, but
yeah, and something like that I could see as far as Uber being a client who wants to outfit the interior design the
I
way
see
they
what you're saying.
want,
Yeah,
but Tesla will. I mean, Farzad has this idea of like how
yeah,
planes are delivered, right? How Boeing and Airbus do it, where they essentially give you the shell of everything, and you outfit it the way
I
you
see.
want. I could
Yeah,
see Tesla doing that with Uber, but I don't see R&D. I don't see design. I don't see any of that coming from Uber. But that's
gotcha.
my biased opinion of how I see Tesla as just this engineering juggernaut that you,
Yeah.
you better really bring something to the table for us to bring you in on things like that.
Okay. Now, this other tweet from this person, I have no idea who this is, but Deda Fima. And it was an interesting tweet that I saw because basically says Tesla should aggressively be negotiating commercial sales with rental car companies, governments, fleet operators, etc., so that it can put demand questions to rest in 23. He reminds us that the IRA's 7.5 thousand commercial credit has no battery sourcing requirements, no price caps, and no income limits. So there is this IRA credit. I don't know much about it. That is potentially available if you partner with for commercial use. And so remember last year at this December, we had that big news with the Hertz partnering with Tesla. I was fully expecting we were going to have another one of those by the end of last year, and it didn't happen. And so I'm hoping that something like that might actually happen in the first quarter of this year, especially now that we're starting to see this IRA. So that's why I thought, what's the likelihood that Tesla could actually start partnering with commercial partners?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of long overdue. I mean, really, Tesla doesn't do anything like that, right? I mean, even the Hertz deal, Elon was very blunt. You're not going to get any volume discount. We're not doing any
Right.
negotiations. No contract has been signed. Anything, right? And they were essentially having to buy one by one, manually. So Tesla doesn't really do a lot in this space. But yeah, it'd be awesome to see them partner with with public sector, police departments, um, hospitals, mail services. I mean, you name it, right? Any kind of vehicles that the government is using, or local governments are using. Like, it'd be awesome to see more electric vehicles out there. I know, like, there's a push for, was it the USPS to go
Yeah.
completely electric. I
Right.
mean, there's no Tesla vehicle that looks like a current USPS type vehicle, but who's to say that's what a male vehicle has to look like, right? Why can't you outfit a Model Y or Model 3 to be a USPS truck or the vehicle? So I don't know. I definitely, I'm with you on that, or with whoever tweeted that. I forget the name, but I definitely think Tesla should start looking more at that. And yeah, like with Hertz, like, go talk to Enterprise, right? Go talk to all the other rental car companies and see, hey, are you looking to do this? If so, let us know now, and maybe
Mhm.
we can block off a certain amount of vehicles being produced every single month to go to you. That way, you can actually strategize. But yeah, I think that'd be a great way to alleviate a lot of the concerns about demand, especially in this current climate, right? And with all the prices drop and the IRA credit, I mean, seems like a win-win all around.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be fun. A lot of fun. Okay. Let's talk about Q4. This is the big topic. It's coming out Wednesday after hours. Curious to kind of prep me. What do you think is going to happen in Q4? What do you think the guidance will be? Um, any kind of advice in terms of what you're what you're specifically listening to?
Yeah. So the biggest thing so I'm listening for two different things, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening to one, are there any signs of them talking about things with the climate, the macro climate, concerns that they might have? We've already heard
Right.
what Elon has to say. I want to see what
Right.
Zach says. I want to see if Drew alludes to anything. And obviously, I want to hear what Elon says as well, assuming he's on the call, which I'd be shocked if he wasn't. So
Right.
I want to hear what they're all saying from the macro perspective, and just kind of get a temperature check, right? Has Elon backed off from his his bearishness that he had on the Twitter Spaces, or now with some more signs of inflation abating, is he kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe things will be all right? It'll be interesting to hear that, right? So one, how they're measuring the macro, because that affects them directly. Then two, the big guidance, right? The guidance, like, despite all of this, everything that's going on in the world, do they still see 50% year over year? I think they'll reiterate that guidance. And I think they'll reiterate that, yes, we didn't hit 50% last year. We had China shutdowns, we had everything going on, but
Yeah.
our overall guidance has been 50% year over year over multi-year horizon. And technically, we have still been hitting that. We haven't missed that. The only thing we missed was what Zach said, which I'm sure he regrets saying anything at this point. But so that talks about macro, that talks about the guidance. And then the big elephant in the room, in my opinion,
Uh,
what they say about why they made these price cuts, the why
nice.
behind it. And in my opinion, like, it's going to be a very tough needle to thread, because the right answer is demand. That's the right answer. Demand is the reason. Not just demand, but then also the IRA. That's another big obvious reason. And so the question is, do they say that, or do they try to massage the message saying that it's about, where our prices are going to be because we see the costs coming down, so we want to pass that back on to our
Yeah.
customers, and the prices are really back to where they were. It's not like we're going way below, so it's really just staying in touch with inflation and everything, which is also true, right? But I don't think that's the main story here. And so apart from that, the last thing that I know that they're going to follow up with analysts will be, well, how do you see this impacting margins? Because if you're saying that this is what the cost that you made these cuts because you see these costs coming down, et cetera, well, why lower now and have a big hit on your margins? Why not wait until those costs come down so you don't take that margin hit, right? That way it stays essentially on par. And there's a reason for that. And again, it goes back to demand. It goes back to the fact that we're in a slowing economy, the world economy. So just be interesting to see how they navigate these conversations and how they say these things. And inevitably, I would be shocked if Tesla's not down the next day, just because, well, anytime I hear good news on it, it seems like the market thinks it was bad news. So I think that's par for the course. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. Actually, this is the first quarter where I actually want them to be more conservative. I don't want them to say we're going to hit 50%, but I think they will. I think they'll say exactly what you said, which is they're just going to say we've always been guiding 50% growth. That is still the case. We've always said that some years were lower than others, and that's the case. I think that they will say the way that they communicated China, where they said that the reason why we've reduced the prices is because of our ability with the factory automation and our efficiencies that we produce, and we're passing it on to the customer. That's what they said in China. They'll say that again. Then they'll say, but the recession this year, we're preparing ourselves and making sure that we will be strong. The question I want to know, and I had this discussion with the Cyberbulls guys, was why did they not just do a 5% cut? Why did they do really deep, large, huge cuts? Significant versus just doing a 5% cut. If it was truly a demand softening, 5% cut here, 5% later, why did they do all one? So I love the way that you said that they should explain the cuts, give us a little bit of kind of their thinking and why they've done it. But you're right. I don't know what they could say that's going to make the stock skyrocket. The Q3 was like this amazing epic earnings call where they said all the right stuff that us bulls were waiting for, and yet nothing translated at all. It was in a very weird, confluence of 3-4 things that all came at the same time. But yeah, this is great. I love the way you positioned that, the Q4. So you said that you think the stock will continue to not really be, kind of revived, and it'll just be there. So even if they come up with a good guidance, what if they said, we did huge cuts, and since we've done the huge cuts, it's been 2 to 3 weeks, we've seen, jumps in sales. A matter of 1 week, we've already hit our quarter, some sort of massive jump in price. Wouldn't that be exciting for everybody?
Yeah, it would be exciting, but the truth is, I know you're looking at the Tesla tracker just as much as I am. Inventory's building again. And not just that, but with these cuts, we didn't even reduce our inventory by as much as we did in December when we had the cuts then. So I don't really see that happening. I do think this will create enough demand to keep, a steady amount of demand out there. But I do think we'll see inventory rise a little bit more, and we'll probably have a steady state for inventory, which I personally think is good, right? I think it's good. But the narrative out there is that if Tesla doesn't have backlog, then they have a demand issue, which to me, it's like, that's ridiculous. I think a better story is you want to buy a Tesla, go out right now, buy a Tesla, go test ride, and let's go ahead and sign a contract. I want that story.
My friend Jacob put out a great tweet a while ago, but it's true. There's nothing Tesla can say that's a good news. If they say inventory's up because our factories are producing so much better, that's bad news. If they can't produce enough cars, it's bad news. It's like, it doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't. But I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to this earnings. I kind of hope, to your point, I hope they're conservative. I hope they're kind of negative, to be honest. Right. I want this to be the last quarter of all this BS. I want them. I would love to see us tank the next day. If we tank the next day, the way I see it, we're recalibrating. Q2, Q3, Q4 are going to be awesome. Right. Yeah. But so I am with you. Like, I would rather us go down to 100, go down to 80, whatever. At least we can feel like all bad news has officially been baked in after that point, because we know where we're going from there. Right. We know everything that's going to come from there. So to me, that would be like the most bullish sign ever, is if Tesla is just going to be conservative. They don't have to be conservative. They just need to talk the way they have been and every other earnings call. They do that, I think we'll be good.
That's good. Okay. Thank you,
Long term.
Nicholas. Yep. Last thing here is we've heard that Arcimoto is struggling. They are warning of a bankruptcy. They've made their factory in Oregon idle. It's too bad. It's another one. It's anytime an EV startup fails, it's not a good news, I think, for us, for the world. So this is, sad to hear this, but we are probably going to hear many more bankruptcies. Do you have a prediction of which car companies? Could there be an OEM declaring bankruptcy this year, or not likely?
I don't think this year for any OEMs, or I'd be shocked if anyone else declares bankruptcy. They haven't declared bankruptcy, but I would be surprised if anyone besides Arcimoto would. I feel like Lucid has at least enough cash, last I checked, till the end of the year, and the Saudis are always there. I feel like Rivian has good backing from good companies, and they have plenty of cash. Tesla's never going bankrupt, at least not in the next decade. So yeah, I don't see it. And as far as the OEMs, again, my prediction is that eventually one of them will go bankrupt, and then the other ones will kind of spin out their ICE divisions and let those go bankrupt, and then have their EV. I mean, like Ford's setting up for that right now, right? You can just tell. Ford has their two divisions they're going to have. Eventually, all the ICE will be under one brand. All the electric will be under the other one. All the debt will be tied to the ICE. And guess what happens? Well, we'll just spin that off, let that die. And hey, we've got this new company over here and we live on. So I think there's going to be a lot of games played like that. So, but hopefully no one goes bankrupt. I think there's enough people out there for everybody to eat.
Tremendous growth. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nicholas. Really appreciate you coming in. Lots of good information. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Cheers.